Hello friends, in this video we'll be taking a look at Anapa11, which is a medieval North Caucasian from Anapa. Anapa is a city in Krasnodarsky Krai. I'm tripping. So this is an individual from Anapa from looks like 8th century. This is medieval period. This individual has mitochondrial DNA J1C, and for his Y DNA, we're actually going to look at that here. It's RCTS 1211, which falls in the R1A. This is an R1A subclade. Interesting. So this individual has Y-DNA R1A. Probably he got it from some kind of Indo-European admixture, and his mitochondrial DNA is J1C. I'm not sure where J1C is most common in. When it comes to populations he's closest to, you can obviously see that here on the screen. It's Abazin, Karachay, Kabardin, Cherkess, Kumyk, various Northwest Caucasian groups. When it comes to his appearance, we're actually going to look at that. So he's predicted to have, with NOSHACOT, he's predicted to have brown hair, either brown or black hair, snub or Greek-shaped nose, kind of intermediate between those two. And it looks like hazel eyes is the prediction for him. Hold on, let me pull that up again. Yeah, hazel eyes is the prediction for him. There's a pretty high odds for brown eyes and green eyes and blue eyes with a neighbor center as well, but the biggest percentage here is hazel. Why is he scoring like this? Okay, so he's heterozygous for blue eye haplotype 3, he is heterozygous for blue eye haplotype 1, and having heterozygous genotype for blue eye haplotype 3, we can also assume he's heterozygous for blue eye haplotype 2 as well, because these are two very closely linked. You cannot have a light allele in BH3 without having a light allele in BH1. I mean BH2 and BH1 together. And you cannot have a light allele in BH2 without having a light allele in BH1. So him having one light allele in BH1, that means chances are he doesn't have two light alleles in BH2. And so we already know it's either 1 or 0 for BH2. And him having one light allele in BH3, that means he has to have at least one in BH2. So that really narrows it down to heterozygous genotype in BH2. We don't have this. This is not in his file, but we can deduct this, right? Logically deduct this from his genotype for the other variations in the OCA2 and HERC2 region. Okay, and he seems to have a heterozygous genotype here for SLC45A2, but homozygous here, and it looks like homozygous here as well. So he's probably got light skin. However, I wouldn't be too surprised if my web version of NOSHACOT predicted him to have like intermediate or olive skin as well. Let's see what he scores with my NOSHACOT, the web version of NOSHACOT. With the web version of NOSHACOT, he's scoring, it looks like hazel eyes once again, brown or black hair. Black is actually slightly higher, and light or fair skin, right? So he's got light or fair skin. For the predicted eye color, this is it. We're going to see his OCA2 and HERC2 eye color predictor. This is only taking into account his genotype in the OCA2 and HERC2 region, and the OCA2 and HERC2 eye color predictor is giving him, it looks like hazel eyes again. So if you just only look at his genotypes in the OCA2 and HERC2 region, he's got hazel eyes. I'm kind of curious, actually. You know what I'm curious about? I'm curious about, let's scroll up. Is this found in the file? Does he really have 0 light alleles here, or is this not found in the file? Because sometimes my web version, my executable version of NOSHACOT will print 0 when it's simply not in the file. Okay, so it is in the file. He likely does not have blue eye haplotype 2. That's very interesting. So chances are him having heterozygous genotype in blue eye haplotype 3 and heterozygous genotype in blue eye haplotype 1, chances are he's got heterozygous genotype in blue eye haplotype 2 as well. So even though we can't really tell that because this is not in the file, this is the assumption we can make, and then we can make the claim that maybe some kind of dislinkage happened here between these two SNPs, between these two variations that he inherited separately from each other, because you normally don't have heterozygous genotype here and homozygous genotype here. That doesn't happen all too much. Alright, for the polygenic risk scores, we're going to see what he scores. He is scoring very low, extremely low odds of schizophrenia, below average odds of type 2 diabetes, and very high odds of Alzheimer's. Crazy! Wow, crazy high odds of Alzheimer's. I think I'm going to talk more about the Alzheimer's and less about everything else, because this is kind of a crazy score. So let's scroll down and see why he's scoring this. Okay, so he has 2 risk alleles for Alzheimer's in this APOE variation. This is an incredibly important genotype, and he has 2 risk alleles here. So you read this 12 to 61 times higher odds of Alzheimer's than average. This is like legit. I mean, it's You have 2 risk alleles here. You're basically like set, determined, predetermined. You're gonna have Alzheimer's at some point in your life. And Alzheimer's isn't particularly rare either. Like 10% of people have it. So having a 12 to 61 times higher than average odds for that, you're screwed. It's gonna be bad. He's got TT here, which leads to slightly increased risk of Alzheimer's, and this genotype, which leads to slightly increased risk of Alzheimer's, and also this genotype in TOM40, which leads to higher odds of Alzheimer's disease. So yeah, all that together contributed to him scoring, but mainly this contributed to him scoring 43 times the average odds of Alzheimer's. Kind of crazy score. For diabetes, why is he scoring so low for diabetes? For type 2 diabetes, he doesn't have type 1 diabetes, and he has a couple variants for lower risk of type 2 diabetes. Okay, and for schizophrenia, well, a lot of the stuff for schizophrenia is not here, but look at that. Okay, so maybe you aren't in the know, but I just made 2 videos on other Anapa individuals, and all of them have the same exact genotype here, which is kind of crazy. It's a pretty rare genotype, and it leads to a decreased risk of schizophrenia. And all of them have him. All 3 of these Anapa individuals have the same exact genotype in this variation, which is kind of crazy. So I'm not sure. Do North Caucasians have? Is it typical for North Caucasians to have this? I don't know. Or are they like related? Are they relatives and they just have it because they're really inbred or something? I don't know. But all of them have the same genotype here. And no A allele in TAC1, okay. Seems like a WORI or genotype in COMT, and also WORI or genotype in MAOA, so less dopamine in the system and quicker dopamine reuptake. Alright, and no European lactose persistence mutation. Heterozygous for the empathy gene in OXTR. For hemochromatosis, no variants for hemochromatosis, no Celtic curse. No micro P, good. We checked that out. And for albinism, does he carry any albinism mutations? Nope. Doesn't have any albinism mutations. Not a carrier for Melanesian blonde hair. Not a carrier for risk of cleft lip and cleft palate. And for the Mediterranean fever, once again, no risk variants for Mediterranean fever. Alright, we're gonna look at his actually ethnic calculator score with my calculator. So as you can see, it's taking into account 543 SNPs for this individual. We're gonna go ahead and let me check. Is there anything in source? No, because I cleared that out. I want to make sure I'm opening the right one. Yeah. So I want to copy all of this here. I'm gonna copy. Come on. Okay, we're gonna copy all of this here and put it into source. Alright, copied a little bit too much. And now we're gonna copy the target. We're gonna copy this. We're gonna put it into target. We're gonna see who he's closest to. He is closest to Newgrange 10 British Neolithic farmer. Very interesting. So Mediterranean, right? It's kind of accurate. It's accurately classified him as a Mediterranean, or like a West Asian, or like whatever. Not a Nordic person. Followed by Turk, which is 2 Turkish people. Followed by Assyrian. Followed by Pinarbasi hunter-gatherer from Anatolia. Followed by Luvian from Iron Age Anatolia. Followed by Iranian individual. Followed by Global. So yeah, it pretty accurately identified him as a Mediterranean, which is good enough for me. That's about as good as it's gonna get with 500 SNPs. And he's getting modeled as a mixture of Assyrian, South Asian, Turkish, VEZ56, which is a warrior from the Tollens River Valley, which I made a video on. 8% Russian, 5% Sri Lankan, and 2% this one Israelite individual. We're gonna go ahead and set distance column to 0.5. See what he scores now. Okay, now he's scoring 52.5% Turkish, 28% Assyrian, and 19% Hispanic Latinx. That's right. In my calculator's Oracle, I actually have a whole category for Hispanic people. Yeah, that's right. There was a lot of Hispanics on OpenSNP, and I thought it would be pretty cool to make a average for all of them, what they score. Now we're gonna see what he scores with the distance column to 1. Let's try that. Probably gonna be much closer. Now it's just Turkish and Assyrian. That's the model for him. Alright, so he seems to be quite Middle Eastern, quite Mediterranean or whatever in ancestry, not Nordic, not South Asian, not Black, not East Asian. That's as good as it's gonna get with my calculator. And thanks for watching the video until the end. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. You can download this sample in 23andMe format from link which is in the description. And that's it, guys. Goodbye.